Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone, where we're here to bring you commentary of Featherstone's Round 1 Betfred Championship clash with Doncaster. It serves up to be an enticing battle between two strong sides in the RFL Second Division this afternoon. Featherstone come into the game in decent form, having not gone unbeaten in their pre-season, which included wins over Goole Vikings, half a game against Dewsbury Rams, which was postponed in the second half due to floodlight failure, and Huddersfield Giants, alongside two extremely convincing Challenge Cup wins over Waterhead and most recently last week a 68 points to 0 win over Inks Rose Bridge, which sets up a mouth-watering battle against Catalan in the next round of the Challenge Cup for James Ford's men. They have their attention firmly fixed on the first championship game of the season, served to be a long season, a largely new look squad for James Ford, and looking to get things off to a winning start. Doncaster, they come in with far more limited preparation than Featherstone, with the last game that they played 3 weeks ago, a 30 points to 4 Challenge Cup loss to Bradford, and most recently a pre-season fixture against Wakefield Trinity postponed due to bad weather. So preparation, as I mentioned, been more limited for Doncaster and Richard Horne's side. The Featherstone come into the game in really good form, been able to test the combinations with up to 13 new signings in the squad. The team news is in this afternoon for both sides. We'll start with Doncaster, who make 3 changes to the last time that they played, with Jason Tarley, Watson Boas and Likaya Maffey all dropping out. Josh Bowden, Sam Smeaton and Brad Knowles are all recalled into the starting 17. So the Doncaster lineup like this: Craig Hall is the fullback, three-quarter line of Edine Gebby, Reece Lynn, who captains the side, Brad Hay and Beretta Ferremo. Ben Johnston partners Connor Robinson in the halves. Up front for Doncaster, Josh Bowden, Greg Burns, Sway Matangi, Jacob Jones, Alex Sutcliffe and Louis McConnell round off the starting side. On the bench for the visitors, Brad Knowles, Isaac Miskey, Paulie and Sam Smeaton. Watson Boas drops to 18th man. Well, James Ford makes 5 changes to the side that comfortably dispatched Inks Rose Bridge last week in the Challenge Cup, with Bailey O'Connor, Callum Turner, Thomas Lacans, Josh Hardcastle and Robson Stevens all dropping out of the side. But able to be recalled to the 17 is Carlos Tuamavave, Ben Reynolds, Zach Herring, who makes his official competitive debut for Featherstone this afternoon, Gadwin Springer, Toby Boothroyd all coming to the side. So Featherstone line up like this: Caleb Akins is the fullback, three-quarter line of Daryl Alforts, Carlos Tuamavave, Jaden Hatton and Gareth Gale. Ben Reynolds partners Zach Herring in the halves. Up front for Featherstone, Gadwin Springer, Will Jubb, Jimmy Beckett, with Clay Webb, Toby Boothroyd and Danny Addy rounding off the starting side. Danny Addy is the captain, of course. On the bench for Rovers, Connor Jones, King Vuniyawa, Jordan Williams and Sitawet Leki Akawala. For this round, Josh Hardcastle drops to 18th man. The history between these two sides: this is the 33rd meeting in the summer era, 86th meeting in all of the club's history between the two sides. Featherstone currently lead the stakes with 18 wins to 12 with just 2 draws. But Featherstone looking to make sure they bounce back from the fixture, this same fixture last year, where Featherstone were humbled in a 24 points to 12 defeat at Post Office Road the last time Doncaster were here in July 2024. Round 1 looks good for Featherstone in recent seasons. They're going for their 6th straight year winning Round 1, 5-year streak that they're looking to extend to 6 with a victory over Doncaster. It's a largely overcast, cold, but still and dry at the moment afternoon. Exactly what you'd expect in the middle of February as we get ready to welcome summer rugby back to the shores of the UK. We're just a few minutes away from kickoff here, almost ready to get underway. The man in the middle this afternoon is Scott Michalauskas, the referee. And as we understand it, Featherstone will be attacking uphill from right to left in the first half. Doncaster, a couple of seasons back in the Championship, of course. Formidable side they've brought to Post Office Road. Plenty of Super League experience in the form of Josh Bowden, Craig Hall, of course, an ex-Featherstone favourite. Plenty of appearances in the Featherstone shirt. Sui Matangi, Alex Sutcliffe, Louis McConnell all carrying, Beretta Ferremo all carrying Super League experience, and of course their captain Reece Lynn, 10-year career at Wakefield. So bags of experience along the Doncaster lineup, and a couple more ex-Featherstone names in there as well. The likes of Sam Smeaton and Brad Knowles, who both started their careers with Featherstone. And Alex Sutcliffe, Louis McConnell, both playing on loan during their time at Leeds. So the stage is set. We're just about ready for the two teams to get underway. as both sides come out onto the field for the first time this afternoon. Featherstone led out by captain Danny Addy and Reece Lynn leading out Doncaster. Interesting to see for this home game, Featherstone electing to play in their alternate black and red strip, with Doncaster featuring the predominantly blue jersey with orange trim. Fascinating fixture this shapes up to be. Like I said, a largely new look squad for Featherstone. 13 new signings in total in the squad, a large number of which are taking part this afternoon. A very largely new look spine. There's only Ben Reynolds, of course, and Caleb Akins from the original spine from last year. As we're just going to take a break for a minute's silence here before kick-off. So a minute's silence impeccably held. Everyone's ready to get this game underway now. Betfred Championship round 1, Featherstone Rovers versus Doncaster. Can Featherstone get their championship season up to a winning start? The next 80 minutes will tell us. As I mentioned, Featherstone attacking from right to left as we see it in the first half. They will have first use of the ball as well as Doncaster get ready to kick off. As I mentioned, former Featherstone favourite Craig Hall will do the honours. Decent crowd in here at Post Office Road have braved the cold conditions as the game gets underway from the boot of Craig Hall, taken by Caleb Akins, who hands it straight on to Gadwin Springer, who just careers been to the line and immediately finds an offload here for Ben Reynolds, who picks up another 10 metres after contact. Great enterprising opening play from the home side. Beckett now, a mid-season transfer from Dewsbury last year, proved to be one of the most invaluable signings of the season and starts in the front row this afternoon. Addy back in the starting lineup, had a clear-out operation on his knee in the pre-season, limiting his pre-season involvement. Quick play the ball on halfway. Boothroyd now has been impressive in the pre-season and Challenge Cup fixtures since making the move from Wakefield, and already 15 metres into Doncaster territory on just the first set of the game. This will be the last one. Featherstone going to kick from 30 out. The ball comes right for Herring. Herring puts it high. Bit of a tester for Beretta Ferramo, just crabbed across to take it and makes about 2 or 3 metres after contact. The former Hull FC man will play it on his own 10. Here come Doncaster again, through Hay. Plays it. Doncaster coming forward again, up to just shy of that 30-metre line, their side of halfway. Jacobs the man who plays it. Bowden now, and enjoyed a stellar season in Wakefield colours, now in the shape of Doncaster, plays it on his 30. Hall going to kick early, looking for a 40-20. He's got plenty on it, but doesn't quite have the distance. And Akins has to go back for it. It's a decent chase from Doncaster there, who close him down on his own 20. So both sets of players getting through their opening set without any problems, as Gale played 2 as he often does. Played just short of the Featherstone 30. Hatton, good yards after contact from Jaden Hatton. Another one of the Featherstone new faces will play it 5 short of halfway. Springer now, route 1 the only way he knows how, leaves a man on the ground in the shape of Josh Bowden, who got up gingerly after that one. Featherstone making great ground in the opening couple of sets of possession here as Boothroyd takes the pass from Herring. Straight back into the middle, and he's wrapped up 25 metres away from the line on the last. Short side play, Herring. In fact, kicks it high, back through the middle, looking to put Hall under some pressure, who gets off the ground well. He's taken there, and they're keeping him upright. They're going to drive him back into the in-goal area. And a real statement of intent in the opening couple of minutes here from Featherstone Rovers. The best part of 60 metres, 70 metres on their opening 2 sets. And a great kick from Herring, but the chase made it even better. 3 men in there to take Craig Hall back the best part of 10 metres over the goal line. And a fresh set of 6 coming up, and a real attacking opportunity for the first time in this game for Featherstone. 3 minutes gone here at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone 0, Doncaster 0. Listed on FRTV, we just get the pause in the game here. Mentioned that Josh Bowden had been left on the ground there in the wake of that rampaging run from Gadwin Springer. Isn't he fired up in the opening couple of minutes? Bowden seems okay to carry on, just buying his side an early breather, as Craig Hall will be the man to drop out. It's a heavy track here. The ball takes a couple of bounces and into the arms of Herring. They come forward now through Jimmy Beckett, who plays it 25 out. Addy, first receiver, drops off Springer. Springer bumps away from Matangi, but did enough to stop his progress. Sutcliffe in there as the chief tackler to finish him off with Bowden. Centre field, Addy, first receiver again. Out it comes to Herring. Gives it on to Akins. Akins tries to straighten things up. He's put to ground in a good tackle there from Brad Hay, who retreats back into the line. 10 metres out. Herring, out to Addy. Addy out to Reynolds. Reynolds drops off Clay Webb, who tries to spin out of the tackle. Can't get away from the attention of Sutcliffe second time round. He'll play it 10 metres out, just to the left-hand side of the post. Jubb tries to catch the markers napping. Can't do so. He's put on the ground there. In a good tackle again from Sutcliffe and Bowden. This will be the last one. 10 metres out. Reynolds, dummies. Lovely short pass there for Webb, who will score the opening try of the game. Inside 5 minutes, it was a lovely disguised pass from Ben Reynolds, who got it at first receiver. The Doncaster defence wasn't up quickly to meet him. Double pump, shaped to go long, gave it short. Clay Webb hit the space in the perfect time, took 2 defenders over the line. And Featherstone, after a physically dominant opening few minutes, get the score that they deserve. They lead Doncaster by 4 points to 0. Really, really encouraging early signs here from Featherstone, playing with a lot more energy than Doncaster, forcing that repeat set and ultimately making the Dons pay. Doncaster had done well defensively up until that point, but the guile and the composure from Ben Reynolds just to disguise that pass, waited for the gap to open up, just a small one, but enough for Webb to squeeze through and get the ball down. About 12, 13 metres in from the left touchline, Reynolds with the conversion attempt. To put Featherstone out to an early 6-point advantage if they can. Reynolds now guides the ball between the sticks. Score is Featherstone 6, Doncaster 0. 5 minutes of the game gone here at the Millennium Stadium. And Ben Reynolds came back to the club halfway through last season and was by far one of their most creative and dangerous attacking weapons, and he's picked up exactly where he left off last year. A try assist to his name already in the opening few minutes of this one. Doncaster will look to regroup. The entire game so far pretty much been played down their end of the field. as Hall puts boot to ball to get the game back underway. Ball takes one bounce. Herring picks it up, is given it onto Beckett. Beckett tries to spin away from one. There's ferocious contact from Matangi, who came again to finish him off inside his 20. Ball comes out to Alford, another new face in the Featherstone side. He's featured in the pre-season and Challenge Cup games. He'll play it 25 out. Addy, just route one this time, running really hard and strong here, Featherstone. Clear telltale signs that they're just running a little bit harder than Doncaster at the moment. This will really please James Ford as Springer bumps away from another would-be tackler. 5 metres short of halfway, he'll play at centre field. Couple of tackles remaining for Rovers as Aikens gets a backpedalling defence. Once again brought down inside Doncaster territory. Last one, Herring puts it high. He's thrown to the ground by Jacobs. We'll let him know about it as well. It was picked up in the end by Hall on that far side. No penalty. Play's allowed to go on. Doncaster take over possession. Gebe now. He's upended in the tackle of Reynolds. Helped out there by Hatton. Lynn captains the side this season. As I mentioned, all the experience in the world at Super League level. Riesling will play it just short of the halfway line. Gebe finds the pass there for Johnston. Hands it on to Matangi. Good low tackle there from Jubb. Played on halfway, Matangi. Louis McConnell. But over the halfway line, plays it quickly. On the short side, it comes now for Robinson. Robinson puts it high. Looking to put a testing kick through for Aikens, but takes it under no real pressure. Robinson looked to chase his own kick and just did enough to pull him to ground. As Featherstone start their set 12 metres away from their line. Score remains Featherstone 6, Doncaster 0. That early Clay Webb try, the difference between the two sides at the moment. Gale comes off his left foot, straight up carry into the clutches of Sutcliffe and McConnell. Two former Leeds Rhinos there, combined to bring him down. Springer just taking defenders with him again. Leaves Matangi on the ground and gets a quick play of the ball. Varadi to counter off the back of this one. An encouraging and impressive start this has been from Springer in the opening 10 minutes of this one. Herring going to kick on the last on halfway. Again, just puts it into the air. Ferramo underneath it. No real pressure on him. Winds it up and is driven back in a trio of Featherstone jerseys there. Tuama Vave, former Hull FC teammate, of course, brings him down. Hay will play it 20 metres out. Gebe picks it up from dummy half, looking to find some space. Does well there, is brought to ground by Beckett. Not before he picked up 10 metres for his side. Lynn now, getting involved in those early carries down this end of the field. Takes a couple of defenders with him, still going Riesling up to halfway. It'll be a slow play of the ball, Webb all over the ball. Bowden, now it comes to Robinson. Dummies tries to go through himself and thought about the offload, ended up having to just keep hold of it. The right decision, that'll be the last one. Puts it high now, Hall into the sky. Bit of a difficult one, it's onto the toe of Hall again, who finds Reynolds, and Reynolds dummies and is brought to ground, but that was arguably Doncaster's most enterprising set of the game, but Featherstone doing enough to close things down as Alfords finds the flick pass out the back to Aikens. Now a little bit of room. Gale dummies himself, gets on the outside, trying to find the pass, and Gebe did just enough to bring him down to prevent the offload. Short side play. Hatton down the short side. Tries to go around Johnston. Great desperate tackle. Did just enough to pull him to ground. Riesling finishes it off. Featherstone manufacturing some go forward on the short couple of short side plays. Now into Doncaster territory again. Ball is with Addy. Gives it on to Beckett. Beckett looking for some space up the middle. Only goes as far as Bowden and McConnell. Addy, flat pass there for Springer. Springer poking his nose through the line again there. Doncaster regroup to bring him down. Last tackle, 20 metres away. Short side, they come on the right. Herring, a little bit of a chip over the top here. It's taken by Craig Hall, who's going to try and get out of the in-goal, but that's a fantastic chase once again. And it's really all Featherstone at the moment in terms of field position and dominance. A lovely kick again there from Zach Herring. There was nothing that Craig Hall could do about that. The chasers were there in numbers to haul him down. The second goal line dropout of the game goes to Featherstone. They currently still lead Doncaster by 6 points to 0. 12 minutes of the game gone here. And will be looking to exert some more pressure hunting their second score of the game. On the back of this dropout, which is a wobbly one. Takes a couple of bounces, and it's knocked on there by Boothroyd, and that could be the error that just takes the air out of the balloon of Featherstone's momentum there. It was a wobbly kick. It was a difficult one to try and pick up. Just getting a loose arm to it, knocking it on, and Doncaster get a reprieve here in the form of a scrum 30 metres from their own line, centre field. Everybody just taking a breath. It's been a frantic opening 12-13 minutes to this one. Doncaster very much on the back foot since the start of the game. Will have an opportunity to clear their line here. Ball comes out to Johnston, who hands it on to Lynn. Lynn will play it on the Doncaster 40. Johnston gives it on to Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe makes a couple of metres forward, brought down by Addy. Burns hands it on now to McConnell. Out it goes to Johnston. And the ball eventually on to Hay now through the hands of Hall. They pick up 15 metres on that play, now in Featherstone territory for the first time in this game, really. As the pass comes along the line to McConnell again, shapes to go right, keeps hold of it himself into the clutches of Springer and Beckett. He's brought to ground 30 out from the Featherstone line. Couple of tackles still in the bag for Doncaster. Matangi shaped to give it out the back, kept hold of it himself. The defence was up quickly to meet him. Plays it, Burns. Onto Hall, who bats it backwards into the arms of Johnston. This is the last one. Johnston with a hurried kick across field, taken by Farema. Farema hurries a kick through behind the line. It's not a bad one in the end, but collected the bootlaces by Aikins, and the Doncaster chase was there to meet him. So unorthodox end to the set, but in the end, wasn't a bad set of six from Doncaster, but Featherstone defended it well as Alfitz looks to counter upfield, plays it quickly for Jubb. On to Gale, just backing his way to the defence. Sutcliffe in there, chief tackler again. He'll play it in the middle of the field. Jubb comes right to the try scorer, Webb. Lynn is up underneath him with help from Johnston to put him to ground. They come short side again. Reynolds onto Hatton. Hatton tries to bump away from Sutcliffe, who comes again with help from Lynn. 5 metres into Doncaster's half once again. Last tackle, Reynolds is going to kick from 45 out. Another testing one, high, but not much pressure on Hall, who collects it safely. And into the arms of Webb and brought down by Jubb as well. Real set for set stuff this. 15 minutes gone at the Millennium Stadium. Score remains Featherstone 6, Doncaster 0 on FRTV. Robinson gives it on to Faremo, that trademark big hulking carry through the middle of the field. He's brought to ground by Herring. Robinson hands it on to Jacobs. Jacob Jones, I beg your pardon, to the 40 Doncaster side of halfway. Hay now. Good tackle down low there by Jubb. Halts his progress. Doncaster kicking from their own half. Robinson on the last. Drills it low trajectory on that far side now and puts it over the touchline about 15 metres out from the Featherstone line, and everybody will just walk to the scrum. The first real stoppage of the game since that Clay Webb try. It's been end-to-end, a lot of ball in play. And although it's dry, as you can see the conditions, the pitch underfoot quite heavy. And that will certainly contribute to fatigue as the game goes on, as Gale is brought down for minimal gain there by Burns and Matangi. Alfitz spins into the tackle of Jones, put to ground with help from Bowden. 2 tackles gone, Featherstone still deep inside their own half as Jubb comes on the right on the short side, finds Beckett. Doncaster swarming in defence to pull him to ground. Jubb at acting half, gives it on to Addy, first receiver, on to Springer, who took it at pace, finds the offload there for Webb. Out to Reynolds, a little bit of space now, double pump again to Hatton, gives it out to Gale. Gale one-on-one with Gebbe here. Gebbe does well, he bumps away though, Gale. Gale finds space into the backfield as Gebbe comes again and eventually puts him to ground, 15 out. Fantastic run from Gale. They're coming back down this side on the left. Aikins pass to Reynolds to Webb. Webb out to Hatton. Will Hatton score? He scored in the corner, has he? Jaden Hatton. The referee awards it. Fantastic work from Featherstone once again, who get their second try of the game. It was simply fast hands off the back of that Gareth Gale break. Gale weaved his way back in field, was brought down by Gebby, who was well in field off his wing. The Doncaster defence was at 6s and 7s, and it went through several pets of hands. Akins to Reynolds, to Webb in the makeshift centre position, summed it up beautifully for Hatton on the wing, who just managed to get his feet off the touchline and dotted it down acrobatically in the corner to put Featherstone out to a 2-score lead. They now lead Doncaster by 10 points to 0. Jaden Hatton's 4th try in Featherstone colours so far this season. Played a prominent role in Featherstone's pre-season. And what a finish it was. Didn't have a lot of room to move. Webb did just enough to create the space for him. As I mentioned, the short side raid there, noticing that the Doncaster defence was all over the place. They scrambled back well, in fairness to them on the line, but Hatton with a fantastic finish in the corner. As Reynolds from that far left touchline looking to add the extra 2, it bounces off the post and away. So the score remains Featherstone Rovers 10, Doncaster 0. But Featherstone worth every one of those 10 points so far. An extremely dominant opening 20 minutes from the home side. Fantastic build-up as well to that try. Going through the hands. The offload in the middle of the field from Springer has been fantastic so far. Just to recognise the space on this edge, Gale bumped away from one defender, managed to cut back infield for a 40-metre gain. Then went through the hands, and Hatton did the rest as the kickoff is taken and handed on to Beckett. It's taken by his opposite number, Matangi there. 15 out, Jubb. Straight down that short side to Boothroyd. Boothroyd is wrapped up by Hay and Jones on that far side. Alfort's now looking for a carry through the middle. We'll play it a couple of metres short of the 40 as Burns loses the headgear in defence. Addy gives it on to Webb. Webb operating in that left channel. He's driven back, and that's good defence on show from Doncaster. Halt his progress 5 short of halfway. Addy tries to take on McConnell. Picks up the best part of 12 metres there. He'll play it on the last one, on halfway again. Reynolds puts it high, into the corner, testing one for Hall, who takes it about a metre short of his own try line, and a good defence there. Good chase led by Webb and Hatton as Gebe looks to get involved. Taken low by Hatton, over the top was Springer. Jubb in there as well. Doncaster pinned inside their own half as Robinson just takes it on himself. Cut off his right foot, finds an offload to his halves partner, Johnston. Johnston now picks up the best part of 5 metres there. But good desperate defence on show there from Beckett as Burns skips out a dummy half, hands it on to Bowden now. Bowden will play it on his own 40. Sutcliffe going to try and get things up towards the halfway line, skipping across field, not getting many yards forward. This time he does, as he leaves a couple of defenders on the ground, and he's swallowed up there by Springer. This will be the last one. Robinson puts it high through the middle of the field, taken on the full by Akins this time. Gives it on to Alforts. Alforts runs back at good solid contact there from the front row pairing of Bowden and Matangi. As Featherstone make their first change of the afternoon, Gadwin Springer, an excellent opening 20 minutes from the big Frenchman, is replaced by King Vuniyayawa, who straight into the action here, takes the pass and up and over the halfway line already. Such physical dominance from Featherstone so far as Tuamavave gets in on the action, leaves a couple of defenders on the ground. We'll play it 35 out. Addy now, first receiver, just takes the ball himself. He's been very busy in the middle of the field as well. Last tackle. The chip comes in from Herring into the in-goal area again. This time just takes a couple of extra bounces over the dead ball line, and probably the first thing that Featherstone have done wrong with ball in hand really at this end of the field. And that'll be a 7-tackle set and a really relieving set for Doncaster, who come forward up and over the 30 through Ferramo on the first tackle. That'll be 0 tackle in fact, as Gebe almost loses his footing. Put to ground there by Reynolds and Vuniyayawa. As Doncaster make their first change as well. Brad Knowles, former Featherstone man, into the action, replacing Josh Bowden. Matangi up and over the halfway line. He had Jones with him, opted to keep hold of it himself. He'll play it 45 out. Robinson. Out it comes to Johnston. Johnston double pumps, keeps hold of it himself. Had to give himself up there. Risk giving away the penalty. Robinson hands it on now to Knowles. No stranger to these parts. Started his career at Featherstone. Now in the shape of Doncaster colours. As Robinson hoists it high on the last. From 30 out. Tester for Alfords. Under pressure, that's bounced into the arms of Doncaster. And Ferramo picks it up, trying to get the arm free. And Featherstone get enough jerseys in the picture to pull him to ground. And Doncaster almost manufactured something out of nothing there. And as it is, we've got 23 minutes of the game gone. Score remains Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0 on FRTV. As Jordan Williams is injected into the game for the first time this afternoon. I think it's Jimmy Beckett, the man who's been replaced. So James Ford opting for a fresh front row rotation as Tua Mavave with that tough carry out of yardage. Plays it for Alfords. Alfords met by Burns. Just standing in the tackle, eventually put on his back there. Job hands it on to Vuniyayawa, looking to get up and over that 30-metre line. Doncaster have done well to restrict Featherstone's go forward in this set. Couple of tackles still to come for the hosts. Akins, straight up carry there. Big, brave carry. Takes Knowles with him up to the 40. Reynolds going to kick from inside his own half. Low trajectory kick, took a touch from somebody. It's picked up by Gebe on the second bounce. And Gebe salvages possession for Doncaster. So Doncaster's best defensive set of the game there. Rewards them with starting their set 30 metres away from their own line. But Lynn straight into the clutches of Williams and Jubb. Put on the ground there for minimal gain forward. Robinson gives it out to Hay. Hay put on the ground there by Herring. Burns onto Matangi, onto Knowles. Knowles stood and bent backwards in that tackle there. Still going, Brad Knowles. Finds an offload. It's an untidy one, but it's gone backwards as Burns tips it up there for McConnell. McConnell straightens things up. Put to ground in a good low tackle there by Vuniyayawa. Doncaster into Featherstone's half. Robinson. Surrenders to the tackle himself here. This will be the last one for Doncaster. 35 out. Centre field, Hall. Going to put it into the air here to try and put Akins under a bit of pressure. Akins is collected and immediately taken by Ferramo. This has been a better couple of sets of 6 from Doncaster's point of view, but good defence on show from Featherstone. Yet to have their line breached, leading by 10 points to 0. Clay Webb, Jaden Hatton, the try scorers. As Alfords comes forward again, met by a trio of Doncaster jerseys there. He's put to ground on the 20. Yet to have a penalty in this game, interestingly. There's a good low tackle there from Knowles. Upending Gale, but plays it quickly as Addy scampers forward again. Takes on Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe does enough to bring him to ground. Really putting himself about so far in this game, Addy. As Reynolds kicks early down the middle of the field, takes a couple of bounces behind Hall. That's a great kick as Hall eventually gets possession on his own try line, has to bring it back, and there's a wall of black and red jerseys to bring him down. He plays it 10 out for Ferramo, play 2. Comes forward into Herring, helped out by Vuniyayawa. They put him to ground on his 20. Doncaster make a couple more changes. There's Miski and the man mountain that is Paulie injected into the game for the first time. They replace Burns and Matangi. So Richard Horn making a few rotations now as Paulie straight into the action. Takes 3 men to put him on the ground. Such a big man, Paulie. Plays it, Miski just hands it on to Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe will play it. A couple of metres short of the halfway line. Johnston onto Robinson. Robinson doesn't get that one quite how he wanted it. End over end. Bounces into the path of Akins, who nearly got away from him on that last bounce, but he did well to pick up possession, and he's brought to ground by Johnston, who's whacked by his own player there. Brad Knowles, second man, and a little bit of friendly fire as Johnston just limps back into the defensive line. And there's a knock on there from Featherstone. I believe it's Gareth Gale who's made the mistake, who just clutches the back of his head, who took a little bit of a bang there in that tackle and just losing the ball as he got up to play it. So the first real error that Featherstone have made inside their own half to 28 minutes. Still leading by 10 points to 0. But this is the first real sustained attacking opportunity Doncaster have had in this game. And Featherstone's defence will be tested here. Doncaster start their set 30 out. Johnston had to reach for that one, gives it to Paulie, who comes forward. Paulie will play it. 30 out, Knowles. Out the back it comes to Johnston. Johnston onto Sutcliffe. Sutcliffe into the arms of Jubb. Hatton in there to help as well. 20 metres out, Doncaster. Tackles in the bag. Johnston digs into the line, tries to go through himself. Good low tackle there by Vuniyayawa. And he's hurt there. Ben Johnston. Vuniyayawa down low. I'm not sure it is a lower leg injury, actually. I think it's maybe a clip round the head, perhaps. The physio's on to check Johnston around the head and neck area. Just have a short pause while they assess whether he's okay to carry on. Physio very quickly puts the thumb in the air. He's fine to carry on. Doncaster will have possession 20 metres out, bang in front of the post. Miski acting half, gives it to Paulie. Paulie just taking defenders forward with him, eventually put to ground there by Boothroyd, and he's lost the ball there, Paulie. And the Featherstone players coming to congratulate each other for great physical effort in defence there to haul the big man down and then force the error. And Paulie protests his innocence, but the referee having none of it. Will be a scrum feed to Featherstone. Great defensive resilience shown there to keep their line intact. So we approach the half-hour mark here at the Millennium Stadium. It's still Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0. It's a slow scrum feed here, eventually won by Featherstone. It's Hatton, one of the try scorers, brought to ground there. As Jubb skips out a dummy half on that short side. Gale now seems to have recovered from that earlier knock, runs into the arms of Paulie and Miski. Sutcliffe in there as well. Worked very hard in this opening half, Alex Sutcliffe. As has this man, Addy, just backing his way up to that 40-metre line, Featherstone side of halfway. Still a couple of tackles remaining. A 6 again comes here. First real indiscretion from either side as Featherstone get a fresh set of tackles here. And they'll play it on the 0 tackle on the halfway line through Vuniyayawa. Reynolds gives it inside to Jordan Williams. That's a huge shot over the top there from Paulie. But he does well to ride the tackle and just plays it quickly. Now Jubb skips out a dummy half. Good tackle down low by Sutcliffe. Pass comes out to Vuniyayawa. Good low tackle from Miski. Over the top was Knowles. Slow play of the ball in the middle of the field, 30 metres out. Addy comes off his right foot, gives it to Jubb. Jubb, not quite sure what to do with it, stands in the tackle, gives it back to Addy. Out to Herring, out to Boothroyd now. Boothroyd tries to go on the outside of Jones, comes back in field, taking defenders with him, eventually put on the ground by 3 Doncaster chasers. This will be the last one for Featherstone. 25 metres out. The ball's going to come out the back. Is it here? It does to Reynolds. Reynolds shapes to give it to Herring. Eventually does to Hatton. Out to Gale. Gale's one-on-one with Gebby here. He's coming back in field. Gareth Gale trying to get the arm free. The pass spits out. It's picked up by Webb. But that is given as a tackle. And that will be a turnover 5 metres away from the Doncaster line. Score remains Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0. And Featherstone doing well to keep the ball alive there and just turn over possession. Exactly where they want them here. Got Doncaster pinned in their own corner. And these are the really tough carries as Gebbe looks to get things moving forward for Doncaster. Good shot over the top there from Hatton. Lynn picks up 5 or 6 metres. Paulie now gives the ball out the back to Robinson. Robinson just tries to straighten things up. Bumps away from 1-2. Eventually finds the offload from Miski. Miski is wrapped up. Good solid defence on show here from Featherstone. They're quick to react to any offload that Doncaster are able to pull out the bag as Johnston just loses his footing. Paulie again, ambling through the middle of the field, taking defenders with him, finds an offload. It's an untidy one. Eventually picked up by McConnell for another couple of metres forward. He'll play it on the halfway line. Robinson takes it right to the line, puts it high. This will be a testing one for Akins, who takes it again and almost gets through the gap there as Robinson lost his footing, but as did Akins, who fell into the arms of Jacob Jones as Alfitz carry through the middle of the field here. 7 minutes to the break. Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0 on FRTV. Game developed into a real arm wrestle in the last 10-15 minutes or so. Neither side able to assert any real dominance, but the opening 20 very much belonging to Featherstone. And 2 tries to their name. Doncaster yet to get on the score sheet as Featherstone come forward. Out the back it comes to Reynolds. Reynolds dummies to give it to Webb to Hatton. Great line, but an even better tackle there from Lynn to pull him to ground, but gives up a quick play of the ball. Last tackle, Akins to Reynolds down the short side. Kick in field, it's dribbled off a man as Reynolds tried to kick it forward again, eventually into the arms of Hall. Hall has a little bit of room to move, fires the pass out, and eventually now into the arms of Ferremo. Frantic stuff, but Doncaster doing just enough to hold their line intact again there. Was Reynolds just grubbering the ball through, towing it on, and was eventually pulled to ground. And Hall cleaning up the scraps as Hay brought to ground on his 30. Miski short side play for Ferremo. Ferremo picks out Boothroyd and runs at him. Boothroyd sticks to the task well with help from Tuamavave. Doncaster 5 short of halfway. Middle of the tackle count for the visitors. Robinson. Out it comes to McConnell. Out to Johnston, and the pass wasn't a good one. It was out in front of him. He did his best to reel it in, but just losing it on his way to the ground. And with just over 5 minutes to go to the break here, Doncaster open the door for Featherstone. An unforced error in their own half. Doncaster have slowly built into this contest, managing to get an equal share of possession, but at the moment unable to do anything with it, and have just coughed up the ball and given Featherstone an opportunity to go on the attack here and post more points potentially. As Tuamavave goes around 1, eventually put to ground on the second attempt by Robinson. As Connor Jones comes into the game for the first time, replacing Will Jubb. McConnell comes reeling out of the tackle, eventually put on the ground there by Miski and Knowles. 20 metres out now, Featherstone. Addy, shaped to give it short. Eventually gave it to Reynolds, who finds Webb on the inside. Webb, the opening try scorer of the game after just 4 minutes, plays it 15 out. Addy, first receiver, back inside to Williams. Good route 1 carry from Williams. takes it inside the Doncaster 10. He'll play it bang in front of the uprights. Options left and right. They come right through Jones to Herring. Herring into the line. Dummies and goes himself. That's a great shot on the inside from Knowles, but Herring's still going. Can he get to the line? They've done just enough to bring him down a couple of metres short. In that far corner, last tackle. Addy takes it on his knees. Fires the pass out to Reynolds. Reynolds looking for the kick to the corner here. Takes a bounce over the dead ball line, and Gebe just sees it. Just goes a touch too far there, fortuitously for Doncaster. As Gebe comes forward. Another 7-tackle set for Doncaster. Score remains Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0. Plenty to like from what you've seen from Featherstone in this opening half. Doncaster just slowly working their way back into the game. No points on the board for them as of yet. As a 6 again comes for Doncaster. As Knowles back against the grain, knocked off his feet by Herring there. And he'll play it 5 metres into Featherstone territory as McConnell drops it off for Paulie. Miskey acting half, gives it to Robinson, digs into the line. Short ball there for Jones. Jones, what a tackle that is on the inside from Vuniyayawa, and it had to be as well. He plays it 20 out. Miskey skips out a dummy half, tries to straighten the line. Great defence on show from Boothroyd. Doncaster are inside the Featherstone 10. Slow play of the ball. Miskey looking for a penalty, didn't get one. Ball comes back in field to Robinson. Robinson, out the back it comes to Johnston. Johnston out to Hall. Hall fires the pass out to Lynn. Lynn tries to go around his man. Great tackle from Hatton on the inside. Plays it quickly. Last tackle. Hall, 10 metres out. Kick across field. It's taken by Alfords brilliantly on off his wing. Just claimed that ball, got above the pack, took it cleanly. And snaps up possession for his side as Tuamavave makes 15 metres on that carry. 2 huge players from Featherstone to firstly keep their line intact and then get the ball down towards the other end of the field as Alfords comes place 2. He's smashed in that challenge there from Knowles but keeps hold of the ball. Paulie was in over the top. Gale spins away, put to ground by Sutcliffe. 3 tackles gone here for Featherstone. As Reynolds on that short side, looking to weave his magic, put to ground there on the last, in fact. He'll play it a metre short of halfway. Addy going to do some kicking this time. Punches it, low trajectory kick, takes a couple of bounces onto the foot of Hall, who has to get after it quickly. Picked up and put to ground by Johnston there. Jones, I beg your pardon. Johnston acting half, gives it to Gebe. Gebe just takes a Route 1 carry, put to ground there by Williams. Last couple of minutes of this first half. Still 10-0 in the favour of Featherstone as Lynn comes across field, bumps away from 1, 2. Herring comes again to put him to ground on the Doncaster 40. Robinson, short side, they come through Jones. Jones double pumps, takes it himself and takes Tuamavave up and over the 40, loses the ball in the tackle there. It's play on now as Boothroyd picks up possession for Featherstone. Herring at acting half, on to Alfords. Alfords through the middle. He'll play it on halfway, on that right edge in fact, as Herring fires the ball back in field. We're inside the final minute of this first half. Addy, out it comes to Reynolds, flat pass there for Webb. Webb is cut down in a good low tackle from Sutcliffe. As Jones skips out of dummy half, this is what he likes, a quick ruck, but the defence was there to meet him in the form of Miskey and Knowles. Addy, on to Williams. Williams just trying to stand in that challenge. Plays it. This will be the last one. Kick comes high again, looking to put Gebe under a bit of pressure. Gebe takes it cleanly and he's put to ground there on the try line as a siren sounds in the background, and that will bring an end to an exciting and hard-fought first half in which Featherstone came firing out of the blocks. Really physically dominant stuff. They opened the score after just 4 minutes with a clear web try off a lovely ball from Ben Reynolds, and then Just before the 20-minute mark, Featherstone went through the sets of hands, released Gareth Gale on the left edge. The winger cut all the way back in field, was brought down on the 10, and fast hands out to the left edge where they knew Doncaster were shot for numbers. So Jaden Hatton touched down acrobatically in the corner. Reynolds only managing to convert 1 from 2. But Featherstone, in the second part of that first half, having seen their line under pressure with Doncaster managing to get some territory and possession, unable to crack the resilient Featherstone line, leaves the half-time score here at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0. Very encouraging start for James Ford's men, but another exciting and important 40 minutes to come after the break. We'll take a quick break and be back for the second half action in a few minutes' time. Catch the marker snapping, can't do so, he's put on the ground there. In a good tackle again from Sutcliffe and Bowden. This will be the last one, 10 metres out.
For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon. For generations, Featherstone Rovers has been the heart of Yorkshire rugby. Built on pride, forged in passion. This is more than a game. A season of highs and heartbreak. From the locker room to the pitch. From the first whistle to the final minute. This is Featherstone Rovers. This is their story. A season in the making. A legacy in the balance. Coming soon.
Hello and welcome back to the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone, where we're at half-time of the Betfred Championship Round 1 clash between Featherstone Rovers and Doncaster. Featherstone currently holding a 10-0 advantage after a commanding opening 20 in which Claire Webb and Jaden Hatton got on the score sheet. Doncaster yet to open their account for 2025. Both sides are back out on the ground now. Featherstone attacking from left to right as we see it in the second half. Can they go on with the job? Doncaster in the latter stages of that first half managing to get a bit of field position in territory of their own, but unable to break through this resolute Featherstone defence, which will certainly have pleased coach James Ford as we're waiting for a ball here. Heavy underfoot this field as we see, it's just starting to rip up a little bit. Featherstone already playing 5 games so far this season, 3 in the pre-season and 2 Challenge Cup games. Of course, Hull FC playing on this pitch in the Challenge Cup last week as well. A little bit of heavy underfoot. Featherstone will kick off. Doncaster will have first use of the ball in this second half. Game is underway. Ben Reynolds with a kick off. Robinson had to go back for it. Tidies things up and is put to ground in the end in a 3-man Featherstone tackle, and will play it 15 away from his own line. Short side play for Ferramo, just picks it up and runs at Herring. And he's put on the ground. Hay comes forward, big shot coming in there from Addy. The arms came up from Doncaster, they thought it was an illegal challenge. Play on is the call. Knowles. Knowles comes forward. Put on the ground there by Williams. Paulie into the line, just keeps hold of it himself. So big and robust Paulie. Paulie, such a difficult man to put on the ground. Plays it on the halfway line. Hall does the kicking this time, straight punches it down the middle of the field. Picked up well there by Akins on the full. Who has a little bit of room to bring this back and just takes it route one. Up and over the 20-metre line. It's a good opening defensive set from Rovers in this second half. As Gale plays it, Alfort's getting in on the action. Through the middle of the field, put down by McConnell and Miski. Plays it for Vuniyayawa now. Vuniyayawa will play it on halfway. Jones to Addy, off his right foot. Put on the deck again there. 6 or 7 metres into Doncaster's half on the last. Pass will come back for Reynolds. Puts another one, end over end, into that corner, looking to put Gebby under pressure. Gebby takes it. Has room to wind up a little bit before going to ground on his own 15. Lynn. Met in a strong shot there by Jones and Williams, but keeps battling forward there, Reece Lynn. Faremo almost went without it in contact there, and he's put to ground by his former Hull FC teammate Tuamavave, with Herring in there to help. Comes out now for Jones. Jones, a good low tackle there from Addy that did the damage. Boothroyd in over the top. Paulie now rumbling through the middle of the field. Yards after contact again. Herring stood his ground well there with help from Addy. Doncaster again kicking from halfway. On the last, Robinson punches it down and it ricochets off Boothroyd into touch. The referee will say that's not played at, and that will be a turnover on the halfway surely for Featherstone. It will just be a play of the ball. 5 short of the halfway line, so the early advantage in this second half goes to Featherstone. 3 minutes of the half gone, no change to the half-time score. Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0 on FRTV. Hatton comes forward, up quickly to meet him was his opposite number, Lynn. Just halted his progress enough for the rest of the defenders to come in and help out. Addy, off his right foot, tries to spin away from the tackle of McConnell. And over the top was Sutcliffe. Tuamavave takes the pass through the middle, bumps away from Knowles, coming through the middle again. Tuamavave put to ground, this time by Sutcliffe. Plays it for Jones. Jones skips out of dummy half, fires the pass out to Reynolds. Reynolds shapes to give it inside, eventually drops off Hatton. Hatton through the middle. That's a good shot underneath there from Knowles, who did well to come again and put him to ground. Featherstone knocking on the door again here, leading by 10 points to 0. Addy, out the back it comes. Eventually into the arms of Akins, who gives it to Tuamavave. Tuamavave up the middle here, and he's brought to ground in a desperate tackle there by Jones. Herring wants it on the short side, gets it. Puts the ball into the goal area, it's bumped away and it's picked up by Faremo, but Herring does enough and he picks the ball back in field to Jones. This is enterprising and risky stuff from Doncaster, but it gets the ball all the way up to the 30-metre line. Fantastic play from the Doncaster winger, who just picked off that kick from Herring. Wasn't quite where he needed it to be, the young Australian halfback. Doncaster clearing their line now through Hay. Hay had Johnston on the outside, kept hold of it himself. And that's a big tackle up and under the ball there from Reynolds. On Sutcliffe, just dumped him into the turf as Knowles tries to skittle defenders. Hatton got the first shot on him, came back to effect the tackle. Miski plays it quickly for Hall. Hall puts it high at the retreating defence. Testing one for Akins, but takes it cleanly at the back. Tries to skip away from his opposite man, and is eventually put to ground there by Paulie and Jones. As Alfort's through the middle, leaving Knowles on the ground, bump backwards. Really slow play of the ball as a 6 again comes here for messing around in the ruck, so that will help. And now a penalty goes to Featherstone. Actually, the first penalty of the game, I make it. 46 minutes into the contest, and Doncaster just messing around too much of the play of the ball and then back it up with an offside. That'll be a chance for Featherstone to clear their lines here. They'll start the set 40 metres away from their own line as Herring, along the line it goes to Vuniyayawa. First tackle, 5 shot off halfway. Featherstone still in front, 10 points to 0. Herring gives it to Tuamavavi, comes off his right foot, so good in contact on his feet, Tuamavavi. Picks up another 5 or 6 metres. Ball comes out to Addy. Short ball there. That's a lovely one for Williams. Williams has got Jones on the inside. He doesn't use him. And he gets up and goes again, Williams, and he has to go back, in fact. He's told to go back and play the ball. A bit of a miscommunication with the referee there. Just takes the impetus out of that run. Williams plays it 10 out. Vuniyayawa now straightens the line. Down he goes, 5 short, bang in front of the upright. Still a couple of tackles left for Featherstone. Looking for the first try of the second half. Jones fires the pass out to Reynolds. Dummies goes himself. Good tackle on the inside from McConnell. Has he got to the line? He goes down a blade of grass short. Jones out to Addy. Out it comes to Herring. Herring steps off his right foot looking for the pass. He's put to ground there. And you have to compliment the scramble defence there from Doncaster. Their line was broken. Jordan Williams got through the line. He had Jones looming up in support, but just couldn't quite get there in times. Williams elected to keep hold of it himself. He went down in the tackle of Hall, who did just enough to pull him down. And the scramble defence on the next couple of tackles from the Dons has arguably kept them in the game here as they look to clear their line now. But warning shot fired from Featherstone. 8 minutes of the second half gone, and they cough up possession in their own half. Doncaster, Ben Reynolds forcing the error from Alex Sutcliffe. And Featherstone will go and attack again here. Scrum feed to Featherstone. .30 metres out. Huge set coming up for Featherstone here. If they can get points, this will be a massive score in the context of this game. Ball comes out of the scrum to Herring. Herring gives it to Tuamavavi. Tuamavavi just takes the first carry up into the Doncaster 20. Ball comes back in field for Herring. On to Addy. On to Vuniyayawa now. And he's wrapped up in the clean shirt of Sam Smeaton, another former Featherstone man, into the action for the first time for Richard Horn's side. Vuniyayawa has been stung in that tackle. Gets up and plays it eventually for Addy. First receiver, comes off his left foot. Finds the offload there for Jones, and it was a poor one. And just getting the communication wrong there, Featherstone. Addy looks around, shakes his head. And Featherstone not able to capitalise on that chance and field position that Doncaster had afforded them. And a pretty cheap turnover in the end, which will be frustrating for the home side. Score remains Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0 on FRTV. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Doncaster right down at the far end of the field here as Ferramo takes that first carry off the scrum win. Finds the offload there for Robinson, who's enveloped in the tackle of Herring and Boothroyd like terriers in defence there. As the pass comes out for Hay. Hay bent backwards in the tackle of Vuniyayawa. This is good defensive work from Featherstone. 2 tackles gone, Doncaster still inside their own 20. Smeaton brought down in the tackle of Vuniyayawa and Addy. Plays it now for Paulie. Paulie leaving defenders on the ground there, still going forward, looking for the offload, keeps hold of it. Reels that big arm back into the tackle. Miski out to Robinson, he's going to kick early. Low trajectory. Alford's thought about trying to cut it off. Let it go himself and rolls all the way back to the try line. That's a great kick from Robinson. Fires the pass out now for Aikins. Aikins into space and almost gets through the line there. Caleb Aikins knocked off his feet by Smeaton. Alford's now comes forward again. Up and over that 30-metre line as Sitaleki Akawala is injected into the game by James Ford for the first time. We'll see what kind of impact he can make as another new face in Featherstone colours in the Championship this year. Danny Addy is the man replaced. 51 minutes with an outer break as Webb shrugs off one defender, but over the top was Johnston to bring him down. Featherstone still on their own 40 as Jones skips out of dummy half. Straight through the middle of the ruck, Connor Jones just losing his shorts. A desperate tackle from Johnston. And the pass, an untidy one on the floor from Williams. 6 again. Reynolds didn't see it. He's kicked in behind the line and Gebe picks it up. And you just feel that Ben Reynolds, had he looked up and seen the referee had blown a 6 again. And he didn't see it, put the kick through, and now Featherstone compound their frustrations with a penalty for the second effort on Eddie Ngebe. And a fantastic run from Jones was the waistline of shorts away from a clean break. Ben Johnston, desperation stuff to stop the Featherstone man. He had support looming up on the inside if he was able to get through there, but Doncaster survive as Smeaton, off the back of that penalty, will play it 30 metres away from his own line. On the first, Burns is back on the field. Jones trying to wrestle his way forward. Herring in attendance with Boothroyd to put him to ground. Paulie beats Williams and then loses the ball in the tackle. Paulie as Boothroyd counter-attacks, and we often see this in the game. Paulie, such a destructive runner, but has that in his game, looking to try and offload. It wasn't on, and he turns over possession as Akawala fires himself into the Doncaster defence. And Featherstone now looking for a crucial score. So Akawala losing the headgear, in fact. Jones, an acting half, gives it to Reynolds. Double pumps to Akawala. Akawala getting his nose through the line there. We'll play it 15 out, just to the left-hand side of the post. Back through the middle. Williams, route one this time, Jordan Williams. And goes down a metre short of the line, bang in front of the post. What have they got? They're going to come right here. Who Herring? Herring flat pass there for Boothroyd. That's a good tackle on the inside from Hay. Knocked him off his feet. A try saver from the Doncaster centre. Last one, 5 metres out. The pass comes back to Herring. Herring crabs across field, kicks it. Gives it to Reynolds. Reynolds tries to bat it backwards and bats it straight to the arms of Sutcliffe, who finds the pass for Gebe. And a good tackle there from Webb. End-to-end action here at the Millennium Stadium, but still no change to the half-time score. It remains Featherstone 10, Doncaster 0. A lot of the play played at Doncaster's end again, but Doncaster's scramble defence keeping them in the contest as it stands, as the step from Faremo knocked off his feet, claims for a high tackle from Tuamavave. The referee allows it to go on. Matangi now knocked off his feet there in the tackle of Vuniyayawa. Smeaton. Good tackle down low there by Akawala. That'll be the last one for Doncaster. 10 metres their side of halfway. On the last, Robinson. Another low trajectory kick. Takes a couple of bounces. He's looking for the touchline. Aikens cuts it off half a metre in. Gives it on to Alforts. Alforts has space on the outside. Thought about passing it. Kept hold of it himself. There was a blue wall of jerseys there to meet him. Gale beats the first man, finds his front, plays it quickly for Reynolds. Reynolds skipping through the line, he's put to ground by McConnell, just losing his footing as he went through. In fact, it was Sutcliffe who finished him off. Tuamavave through the middle of the ruck. Good carry from the centre, up to just short of the halfway line. Plays it for Aikens. Aikens through the middle of the field. He's slipped the net, Caleb Aikens. He's got Jones in support. It's knocked down there by Craig Hall. And that was a timely intervention from the Doncaster fullback, who sized it up well. He did knock the pass down, of course, but he saved what could have been a try there. Jones looming up in support. Would have been in under the posts. Or would have certainly gone close anyway, and it was knocked down by Hall. That's only averted the danger for so long. Scrum feed to Featherstone, 30 metres out. Pass comes out now off the scrum win. Reynolds, flat pass there for Hahn. Hahn beats the man and will score next to the posts. As simple as that off the scrum win. A fantastic bit of play. Lovely disguised pass from Reynolds, who wore a real shot off the back of it for his troubles. but Hatton cut a huge line back against the grain, off his left foot, beat the last man, and scores his second try of the game under the post, as Featherstone do strike first in the second half. And could that be the try that breaks this game open and takes them towards that all-important round one win? It's now Featherstone Rovers 14, Doncaster 0. And Jaden Hatton, 2 tries this afternoon. His 5th try of 2025. And a lovely line, as I mentioned. Reynolds, importantly, back on his feet, wore a real heavy shot off the ball. Took it right into the line off the scrum win, hit Hatton at pace, went straight through the line, beat the last man, and scores a really important try for Featherstone, who now takes them out to a 3-score advantage over Doncaster. Reynolds from bang in front should extend this further. And he puts the ball between the posts. Scoreline now, Featherstone Rovers 16, Doncaster 0. And Jaden Hatton, who scored a hat-trick on his debut for Featherstone a few weeks ago, now hunting his 3rd try. And how important is that one in the context of this game? Featherstone have had to be patient. But eventually cracking the Doncaster line there. 16 points to the good now, Featherstone. What do Doncaster have in response as the kickoff comes, taken by Herring on to Williams. Williams comes across the field and he's put down in the tackle of Smeaton and Burns. Plays it 15 out. Boothroyd, who's been busy on this right edge for Featherstone. Plays it now for Jones to Vuniyawa. Vuniyawa coming forward again. To come down the right edge. Herring gives it on now to Tuamavave. Tuamavave plays it. Akawala leaves Paulie on the ground. A big collision between 2 powerful men. And Paulie coming off second best. A wry smile as he retreats back into the defensive line. And Akawala plays it 40 out. Herring just stands, puts the kick up. Testing one for Hall, but not under a lot of pressure. Finds the offload there for Farema. Farema looking to try and get a couple of metres further forward. Put down by a trio of Featherstone defenders. As we head into the final quarter here at the Millennium Stadium. Score is Featherstone 16, Doncaster 0 on FRTV. And Featherstone, as it stands, on course for their 6th round 1 win in a row. But Doncaster looking to try and get the ball up the other end of the field through Gebby. As Doncaster make another change, Sutcliffe comes to the bench, Bowden into the action for his 2nd spell. Smeaton, good tackle down low by Jones. Akawala in over the top. Burns fires the pass out to Robinson. Robinson puts it high. Taken on that far near touchline by Alforts. Alforts fires another pass out to Aikens. Certainly hasn't been lacking enterprise and risk there from Alforts, but a nice passing field, picked up an extra few metres for his side as Gale on play 2. So effective once again. Plays it on the 30. Webb, who hasn't had a break yet on that left edge for Featherstone, will play the ball 40 metres out now. Williams has played a long stint in the middle of the field here and been impressive with his carries. Looks like he may be due to be spelled soon with Gadwin Springer warming up on the sideline, but this man's also played a big spell. Vuniyawa plays it 10 metres into Doncaster territory. Herring on the last, puts the chip through the middle here. Herring picks it up and fires the pass. It wasn't a good one, and in the end Craig Hall picks up the crumbs and he's going through the middle of the field. A good low tackle there from Caleb Aikens on his opposite number, puts him to ground as Robinson looks to drop off a man. He's put to ground there by Connor Jones, just losing their way a little bit on that play. Doncaster. Pass comes out now to Gebby. Gebby through the middle of the field, weaving in traffic. And into Featherstone territory, what feels like the first time in this second half. 19 minutes to go. Featherstone 16 points to the good. Ball comes out to Hall now. Hay tries to go on the outside, eventually tries to cut inside to Mavavi, who sticks to the task well with help from Herring. Pass comes now to Matangi, out to Johnston. Johnston to Paulie. Paulie just surrenders in the tackle. They were all up in his face to meet him. Ben Reynolds in there as chief tackler. Bowden through the middle. Put to ground there. 20 metres out. What have Doncaster got here? Johnston. In fact, it's Robinson. Puts it high. Looking to take the ball there was Hall, but brilliantly taken once again on his wing. Daryl Alfords, who's barely put a foot wrong this afternoon. Really salvaging possession for his side once again in that corner as they make two more changes. Featherstone, Akawala and Vunayayawa off. Danny Addy and Gadwin Springer back into the game. As Herring just looks to keep hold of the ball himself and driven back in a strong Doncaster tackle. Jones and Hay in there. And just holding on a little bit too long, in fact, and undoing all their good work with a relieving penalty as Herring springs to his feet. Not a very big man, Zach Herring, but certainly brave and as game as they come. Just bounced back to his feet after a heavy contact there. As they find touch on this near side. Featherstone will start their set 5 metres into Doncaster's half. Another try here will certainly seal the game for Featherstone, you feel. Already in control of this one. 17 minutes of the game remaining. Springer first carry back off the bench. Plays it. 40 out. Addy. First receiver to Williams. Williams hard and straight through the middle. Plays it quickly. Leaves Doncaster men on the ground. Addy cuts off his right foot. This is really good direct stuff from Featherstone. Almost up to the 10. Pass comes out to Herring. Herring gives it early to Akins. Drops off to Mavave. To Mavave. Looking to straighten the line. The pass there for Reynolds was a beauty. And Reynolds goes down in the tackle of Paulie. And that's a little bit worrying. And the grimaced as he went down and got up very gingerly. In fact, he had the weight of Paulie landing on top of his leg. We certainly hope that that's not a bad injury for Ben Reynolds, who's been once again among Featherstone's best. 2 try assists this afternoon already. It looks to be okay, albeit a little bit ginger. He's certainly going to carry on playing for the time being. He'll play the ball bang in front of the posts here. Couple of tackles still remaining for Featherstone. They've got options left and right. Which way will they come? They go left, out to Addy, first receiver. Gives it on to Akins. Akins to Webb. Webb off his left foot. That's a high tackle surely, and it's blown by the referee. And yet more pressure coming on the Doncaster line here. Greg Burns just creeping up a little bit high. Call coming from the sideline that Featherstone want to go for the kill here and roll things on. Get another try if they can. Addy off the top restart, just hands it on to Springer. Springer careers into the Doncaster line. There's 5 jerseys in there to pull down Gadwin Springer. He'll play it 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post, banging front of the line. Williams just lost his footing, which took the impetus out of that run. It was easy for the defence. The pass to Herring, to Tumavave, slipped. Looked to try and manufacture an offload. He's kept hold of it himself in the end there. Tumavave, he's put on the ground by Hay, and in over the top was Robinson. Alfords skipping across the line, just straightens things up in the end, put to ground by Smeaton. Featherstone not doing too much in this set so far. They come right again. Herring, pass out to Boothroyd. Boothroyd beat the first man, but Robinson did just enough to knock him off his feet. This will be the last one, couple of metres out. The pass, going to spin back infield to Jones. Jones out to Reynolds, just looks okay now. Puts the kick into the in-goal area. It's a testing one taken, and it's taken by Webb, and Webb has scored. What a miraculous piece of play from Clay Webb, who gets his second try of the game, and he came from nowhere to take that one I was just about to say the kick looked a fraction too long from Ben Reynolds, but in fact it was perfect because Claire Webb came firing through, split the Doncaster defence and just claimed that. A brave catch, got the ball to ground, and he gets his second try of the game, and that will surely be the game now for Featherstone as they lead Doncaster by 20 points to 0. That's Claire Webb's fourth try for Featherstone in his third game. Playing in the back row position on the left edge this afternoon. As I mentioned, a kick's only as good as its chase. And on reflection, Reynolds hanging it perfectly in the in-goal area. Thought it was too far for the Featherstone chasers. Webb had other ideas, came racing after it, took it brilliantly and got the ball to ground. Under so much pressure from the Doncaster back three. What a brilliant try. Just pure effort and determination, the hallmarks that will really please coach James Ford. And Webb, of course, hasn't had a break yet in this game. Gets his second score. Joins Jaden Hatton in pursuit of the hat-trick. But more importantly, puts Featherstone out to a 20-point advantage here. 4 scores. And that will surely be a bridge too far for Doncaster now. As Reynolds looks to add the extra 2 from just to the left-hand side of the post. Makes no mistake. Scoreline now, Featherstone 22, Doncaster 0. So Doncaster looking to salvage a bit of pride here. It's Featherstone. The great take. What a fantastic piece of play. We've seen 2 outstanding catches in quick succession from Featherstone, this time from Jaden Hatton. What a play that was. He came the best part of 15 metres in field to take that kick-off. It was an awkward one and picks up possession for Featherstone. As Gale plays it. Addy for Williams. Williams brought to ground, 5 short of halfway. And Reynolds will be withdrawn here. Boothroyd brought to ground. Reynolds limping from the field. It's a change that James Ford feels he could probably make now with the game well and truly in the bag. Reynolds is withdrawn. Does look ginger after that awkward fall in the tackle of Paulie as Aikens puts it high. Gebbe comes forward, takes it brilliantly. There, Eddie and Gebbe slipped into it and somehow managed to keep hold of the ball. Riesling now looking to get the ball forward. This will be Danny Addy reverting to half-back, you'd imagine. As Boothroyd makes the tackle on Jones with help from Williams. Doncaster on their own 30. Smeaton in the middle of the field. Ball handling to Johnston. Gives it to Paulie. Paulie careering through the line here. Taking defenders with him up to the halfway line. So difficult to stop. Plays it quickly for Burns. On to Johnston. Out to Smeaton. Smeaton. Shaped to give it outside. Kept hold of it himself in the end. Goes down. In the tackle of Williams. Last one. Kicking from 45 out is Robinson. Testing one for Olferts. Olferts does really well there and is bundled backwards immediately by Beretta Ferramo, but did well to keep hold of possession. As Jones comes from the field, Will Jubb back into the action for the final 10 minutes in this one. Featherstone leading by 22 points to 0. And interestingly, it looks like in the last few minutes, in fact, it's Craig Hall has reverted to the far right wing for Doncaster. It seemed to be him who wore the shot in the collision for the second Claire Webb try a few minutes ago. And Gebbe and Hall in the last couple of sets of possession have swapped roles. So they come down the short side again here through Webb. It's been fantastic, Claire Webb. Plays it. Addy going to do the kicking here from his own 40, stabs it down. That touchline, it's picked up on the opposite 20 by Gebby now. Gebby comes forward. And he's put on the ground 30 metres from Doncaster's line. Pass comes out to Ferremo in the middle of the field. Solid wall of black and red jerseys in front of him. Put him on the ground for minimal gain there. 9 minutes to go to full time here. Featherstone in control, leading by 22 points to 0. 2 tries in either half. 2 to Jaden Hatton, 2 to Clay Webb. Ball comes out now to Johnston. Johnston out to Gebby. Gebby tries to go around his man. What a tackle that is from Hatton. Just put him on the ground. Wanted a penalty there, Gebby, but didn't get one. As Lynn skips across field, give it to Smeaton, who was standing still. Really slow set of possession here for Doncaster. Good defence on show once again. Smeaton and Addy come together, a bit of pushing and shoving. Will play it on the last. Robinson puts it high again. A testing one now for Akins. They got big on him at the last minute, but he did well to take it on the full there, Caleb Akins. And Akins is put to ground on his 30. Gale, out of dummy half, tries to take on Bowden. Shot over the top there from Paulie. Alfords. To the middle of the field, he comes. Springer winds up, but Burns does a good job to take his legs from under him and takes all of the impact out of that run, plays it on halfway. Addy kicks early, down that far touchline side. It's going to take a couple of bounces. It's cut off on the far side there by Hall, and Hall is content to go to ground 20 metres from his own line. Gebby comes forward again, put to ground by Addy. Lynn had an option on the outside, kept hold of it himself. Still going forward, Reece Lynn. Bowden just tucks it under his wing and bullocking his way up to the halfway line. Good tackle over the top there from Beckett. Robinson at first receiver, shapes inside, gives it outside to Jones. That's a great tackle from Zach Herring, one-on-one, stood his ground and puts him on the deck. Last one for Doncaster, 40 out on the last. High hanging kick once again here. Gale this time just pouches it safely, straightens it and stands in the tackle. A few tired bodies out there now. It's easy to see why. A really heavy track in the middle of the field. 6.5 minutes to go. No change to the score. Featherstone at 22. Doncaster 0. Featherstone heading for that round 1 win in emphatic fashion in the end. There's been large parts of this game have been a real arm wrestle, real tough stuff, physical stuff in the middle of the field, but Featherstone coming out the better at the moment as Tuamavave finds the offload for Beckett. Beckett backing his way up to the halfway line, Jimmy Beckett. Pass comes out to Herring. Herring drops off Boothroyd. Boothroyd through the centre, runs into the arms of Bowden. Pass comes out now to Herring on the last. Kicks from 45 out. Craig Hall still operating on that wing. Takes it, passes it back to Gebby. Gebby through the middle. Jubb was there to meet him with help from Beckett. So Doncaster will take over 20 metres from their own line as we approach the final 5 minutes in this one. Ferremo plays it for Paulie. Operating in that right channel over there, Paulie. Hatton sticks to him with help from Webb. Johnston to Matangi. Matangi out the back to Robinson to Jones. Jones slips the net, passes it out to Hare. Hare keeps hold of it, passes it inside for Ferremo. Ferremo spinning out of tackles. Herring tried to steal the ball one-on-one. Just managing to keep hold of possession there for Ferremo. Robinson double pumps, gives it to Johnston. Space on the edge here for Doncaster if they can get it there. Lynn Lynn coming across field, he's beaten the tackle of Hatton, still going infield here. The ball comes back to Johnston, gives it out now to Craig Hall. And in the final few minutes of the game, Doncaster put together a nice bit of play on that right edge to get their first try of the game and open their account. It went through several sets of hands with a nice break on the right edge there from Reece Lynn. Found Ben Johnston in support. Johnston looked to go for on his own. He found the pass on the right edge over the top, looming in support, as he always is, the prolific try scorer, Craig Hall, who scores against his former side. And Doncaster, although they will fall short in this one, will get a try on the board in the end. It's now Featherstone Rovers 22, Doncaster 4. As Connor Robinson, the halfback, looking for a kicking tee. And against the run of play, you could argue there, Featherstone have done a great job on Doncaster, who have looked to shift it to the edges at times. This time just catching them out. They got the ball on the outside. It was Johnston, ran it, Reece Lynn into space, got on the outside of his man, flicked the ball back infield to Johnston. Johnston just having the presence of mind to hook it back on the outside for Hall, who had a stroll in. As Robinson, the fans will tell you, has hooked that one wide. So the score remains Featherstone 22, Doncaster 4. Inside the final 3 minutes here at the Millennium Stadium. Maybe if you were being super picky with James Ford's side, you'd be a little bit frustrated that they've conceded in the last couple of minutes here after keeping their line intact for so long. It won't matter to the scoreline in the end. Featherstone are going to win this round one clash. But coach is always striding for perfection. As the kickoff comes from Addy, off the shins of Gebby, eventually picks it up himself, slipping and skating on this muddy field in the middle. Gebby still going, strong ball carrier, put to ground on his own 20. Pass comes out to Johnston, onto Paulie now. Paulie keeps hold of it, standing in the tackle. Eventually put on the ground there. Johnston out to Bowden. Bowden onto Matangi. Matangi, that's great defence underneath there from Will Jubb. Pass comes out to Robinson. Robinson, flat ball there for Jones. To meet him there was Herring. Finds an offload out the back there for Robinson. Out to Matangi now. Doncaster throwing it around in the final few minutes of this one. Put on the ground there by Jubb again, but they're inside Featherstone territory. As Johnston kicks the ball in behind the line, looking to find Craig Hall, as Gale goes back and tidies that one up brilliantly in that far corner, and Featherstone will take over possession inside their own 10. Final couple of minutes now at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone 22, Doncaster 4. As Gale is plays the ball, Alfords. As Alfords will play it 20 metres out. Herring just takes it into the line now. Easy work there for Matangi over the top, plays it for Jubb. On the last, Addy comes off his right foot. So Akins just drills the ball down the line, cut off there on the 30 by Gebby. Gebby will be brought to ground 5 short of halfway. Last minute here at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone heading towards their 6th round 1 victory in a row, as Lynn just looked to have stopped in that tackle there. And if he's pulled his hamstring there, Reece Lynn, or maybe it's just a cramp, he's looking to try and walk it off. Certainly clutch for that hamstring, and that'll be a really disappointing end for Featherstone if he's not, for Doncaster rather, if he Pulls up injured as Robinson goes out to Hay. Hay looking to go crossfield, drops it off for Faremo, bumps away from Herring, can't get away from Boothroyd. And Boothroyd takes possession. Faremo losing the ball, in fact. And Featherstone will end the game in possession through Alforts. Alforts goes down in the tackle. That is the last play of the game. Brings to an end a really physical and endearing battle between two sides. Trademarks of the early part of the season, really tenacious, physical, played in difficult conditions, but in the end it was Featherstone who had the superior class and patience, with 2 tries in the either half, Glenn Webb and Jaden Hatton scoring in the first, and then both players doubling up in the second half to take Featherstone out to a 22-0 lead, with just a consolation Craig Hall try in the final few minutes for Doncaster, as Featherstone run out worthy winners on the opening weekend of the Betfred Championship. A largely new look side, as we mentioned at the top of the commentary from Featherstone. Plenty of new faces, and a lot of them having an impact this afternoon. Clay Webb, as I mentioned, Jaden Hatton both getting doubles.